We have a nums array and we also have a number k. The challenge is to find how many numbers in this nums array will add up to exactly the given number k. We could check every subarray. We can use 2 for loops, but this approach is very slow. What if we can just use one pass to solve this problem? In this video, we're going to talk about this technique called prefix sum to solve this problem. First, let's take a look at an example. We have this nums array 1 to 3, and we have a target k, 3. So we want to find the subarrays that sum exactly to 3. So we have 2, that's why the output is 2. The first one is 1, 2, that sums to 3, and the second one is just 3. In order to solve this problem, we need to keep track of 4 things. The first one is prefix. Prefix is basically a running total. At each position, we have a prefix. For example, at position 1, we have a prefix of 1. At position 2, we have a prefix of 3, basically 1 plus 2, 3. On position 3, we have a prefix of 6, 1 plus 2 plus 3, which is 6. So prefix is a running total. The second idea is the need variable. Need is basically calculated as prefix, this running total, minus the target number k. At each spot, we have a need number that can be calculated. For example, at spot 2, we have a prefix of 3 because 1 plus 2 is 3. And then 3 minus k, this is 3. So need on the second position is 0. So that is how we calculate it. And then this means that it's an earlier prefix. And then this becomes really easy to understand when we do the animation. The next idea is count. Count is what we're going to output at the very end. This is how many subarrays that we have that counts or sums exactly to this target number. So count, we keep track of it, and we're going to report at the very end. And then the last idea is this hash map. So we're going to keep track of how many prefixes are accumulated at each spot. For example, at position 1, we have a prefix of 1. So if we have seen this, we're going to accumulate. So 1 appeared 1 time. On position 2, we have 3. Prefix 3 appeared, so 3 appeared 1. So we have to keep track of that prefix. So that's all. Now we're going to visualize how these 4 variables are going to help us solve this problem. So we are going to start with this array 1 to 3, and our target is 3, which is k. And then first of all, we're going to initialize our 4 variables. So the first one is prefix, which is running total, 0. The second one is the count. So this is what we're going to report at the end, how many subarrays we have, that's 0. The next one is the hash map itself, seen. Seen is going to be initialized as 0. 0 is seen at 1 time. So hash map here, 0 is seen at 1 time. And then there's another variable that we called need. Need is going to be calculated as we go. So now let's scan through the array. Let's go to the first position. First position, we have this prefix 1. So prefix is 1, we have that's the sum. And need is going to be calculated based on this prefix. So this prefix 1 minus 3. 3 is our target. So at prefix 1, we have a need of 2. So this need of 2 is not in this hash map, so our count is not going to be updated. So it's going to stay at 0. Okay, so that's our first position. But after this, we're going to update this prefix with the hash map. So because we've seen this 1 once, we're going to add that 1 into our frequency map. So we're going to add that in. So seen 1 plus plus, so that will add this 1 prefix of 1 seen 1 time. So we added it. Now we're going to continue doing this again and again for the rest of the array. So now we're going to go to the second position. At second position, we have a prefix of 3 because 1 plus 2 is 3. So need is going to be 0 because this prefix, current prefix minus our target 3 is going to be 0. So that is need. So need is already inside our hash map, appeared once. Because of that, we're going to now update the count by 1. So count plus 1, now count is updated. And then now we're going to also update our hash map itself. Hash map currently needs to have the second position's prefix, which is 3, because we have seen 3 once. So we're going to add our hash map's 3 is seen 1 time. Now we're going to the next one. So we go to the next one. On the next position, 3, prefix is 6. we need 3 because 6 minus 3 is 3. Count is going to be 2 because need 3 appeared in this hash map once. That's why we add count by 1. And then at this position, we have seen 6, this prefix 1, so we're going to update our hash map as well. We're going to see 6 once. So now we are at the very end of our array, so we are done updating our count. So at the very end, our count now is 2, and that's the answer to our problem. Now let's put that idea into an actual code. Let's start from the definition, subarray sum. We're given the nums array, and we're given the target k. The first thing we're going to initialize is the scene hash map. So this is the prefix frequency. So we're going to initialize it 0 is seen 1 time. So this is how we initialize scene. And then we're going to initialize prefix. Prefix is the running total, and then this is going to be 0 first. Count is going to be 0 first. This is what we're going to report at the very end. Then we're going to loop through our nums array one by one. As we loop through, we're going to calculate this prefix. So prefix is going to be just x plus. So it's going to calculate a prefix in each one. And then as we go along, we're going to calculate this need. Need is going to be calculated by prefix minus k. So need is equal to prefix minus k. So after that, we're going to see if this need exists inside our hash map or not. If it does, we're going to update our count. So count is going to be equal to scene.get need 0. If it doesn't exist, we're going to just give 0. If it exists, we're going to update the count by how many times it does inside this prefix table. Okay, so that's count. And then we're going to record this prefix sum that we have found here. At each step, we're going to, if we have not seen this prefix, we're just going to put that prefix inside this hash map. If it's 0, it's going to be just 0. If it's not, we're going to update it by 1. Okay, so that is our prefix going to be updated inside our scene hash map. At the very end, after going through all of this for loop, we're just going to return the count that we have seen so far, and that is the number of substrings that actually add up to this sum. This is the end of today's video. Hopefully you learned a lot. In our next video, we're going to do more visualizations like this. Or if you want me to visualize more concepts, you can also let me know in the comments section below. If you like this content, please subscribe and check out other similar videos.